What anime universe would your main be a part of? Marvel Rivals and anime. Like caffeine and our parents' approval, it's two things we can't do without.
Your disappointment.
Dad, I made it to Diamond with Squirrel Girl.
So Squirrel Girl, huh? Yeah, that's what you're into?
Yeah?
Okay, I got something for you.
What is it? Today, we take your beloved Marvel Rivals Vanguards and show you with 102% accuracy where they fit in to our favorite weebdoms. Starting off with Angela, Demon Slayer. Let me introduce you to the Iker Hashira. Picture that angelic muscle mommy with a Nichiren blade infused with her Iker of the heavens. This would allow that blade to morph into any weapon she wants. She loves her dual hand axes for brawling most times and a spear while she flies. By the way, am I the only one that thinks having a Hashira that could fly would be sick? And in terms of power scaling, her versatility would put her up there with the Stone Hashira Gyome, probably. I mean, damn, look at those muscles. Anyways, where would she fit in the story? Let Papa tell you a story. Descending from an ancient angelic race that fought and wiped out the OG race of demons way before Muzan, and thus once their mission was complete, retreated from the world. Or so they thought. That little rat Muzan is persistent, as we have seen. He survives the demon holocaust as an infant and was adopted by some rich family. However, his demon parents had sealed his demon powers away within him, which would have killed him if it was never released. And that is his terminal illness. So we see in the show that damn doctor accidentally unlocks his powers with that marijuana that he gave him. And then Muzan had the brilliant idea to wipe out humanity because he got a little jealous that they can use sunscreen. Angela gets sent back to Earth to deal with the ever-growing demon threat once more and joins up with the Demon Slayer Corps due to their common goals, which is obviously, say it with me, racism. Next up, Bruce Banner, a scientist experimenting with DNA mutations and turning it into an enraged monster, screams Attack on Titan. However, he would Hulk out, and unlike the other Titans that are usually around 10 meters, so like 30 feet tall for us freedom enjoyers, he would be his normal Hulk size at like 9 feet tall. So this little green Titan goes around picking fights with these other monstrosities like a kindergartner on trend picking fights at the high school. It would be funny and badass at the same time. How would he fit into the story, though? I think he would have known Eren Yeager's father, Grisha, and would have helped him complete his experiments, as well as Grisha would probably be helping Bruce with his own. By harnessing the power and gamma energy emitted by the lightning when a Titan transforms, Bruce was able to create his own miniature Titan transformation. But since that transformation didn't have the size factor, but had beyond overwhelming power, depending on his emotional state, they buried the research in hopes no one would get their hands on such strength. Captain America. At first, this felt like a pretty straightforward Naruto angle. A taijutsu specialist that uses his shield to guard himself against all the crazy ninjutsu abilities that the other ninjas have. And as the leader of his own village, he would wear their insignia on his headband and his shield. The star. Captain, they would call him. Freedom he would bring. But I believe that even after Steve kicked the bucket at the end of his old age, that he would still dedicate himself to protecting people, even in death. So, allow me to introduce you to the Soul Reaper captain of Squad 17, Steve Rogers. Bleach. Having Soul Reaper squads over the American divisions would only make sense, and dealing with the Hollows in fine places like Baltimore, Portland, and Detroit would just be amazing. He would fit into the story, I believe, as a captain, because obviously he has the name and experience already, but I think he'd rise to that rank because he'd be the first Soul Reaper whose Bankai would be a shield. Doctor Strange. Jujutsu Kaisen. This one just thematically makes sense. The Sorcerer Supreme joining the realm of crazy sorcerers and high-end monster battles would be an absolute hit. We don't really get to see high-octane action from Doctor Strange in the movies too often, so this would be a huge change of pace with people like Toji, Gojo, and the myriad of monsters. Bro would be able to just spawn in, teleport someone out of reality, continue fighting the next monster. Or he could teleport in his allies at any given moment. Combining his teleports with Todo's clap ability, you would get some fucky team fights. And I also would really like to think that he would have been Gojo's teacher. Domain expansion, Eye of Agamotto, insanely cool. Time to catch you off guard. Emma Frost, One Punch Man. That's right. A brawler who can read minds and manipulate people would absolutely kick ass in the OPM universe. She would be able to manipulate people mid-fight, but also just beat the shit out of them in a hand-to-hand brawl if they manage to overcome the psychic abilities. Would she be able to beat the Caped Baldy? Absolutely not. But I do think she would mop the floor with most S-class heroes and even a lot of the dragon level threat monsters. Groot, Dragon Ball Z. Hear me out. Tree. Brawling it out with a bug, bipedal gum, and a really angry ex-girlfriend. Who would win? He could use his branches and roots to lock his opponents in place and give them more hands than a midtown massage parlor. On top of that, if he learned how to control ki from the other Z fighters, he would be able to launch ki blasts from anything he sprouts from the ground. Bro would be unmatched, putting even legendary characters like Ultra Instinct Yamcha to shame. I'd like to think he'd be voiced by the guy who voiced Mr. Satan, or maybe even is Mr. Satan altered. In any case, he would fit right in with this series, and of course, the abridged series. Magneto. Hunter. I know everyone was hoping for My Hero Academia, and yes, he would be great in that, but I'm not basic. A master manipulator whose aura is magnetic would easily put him above the pedophile in terms of power. Although, now that I think about it, rubber isn't magnetic. And did you know that bungee gum has both the properties of rubber? In the story, I think he would be a part of the Zodiacs. With how powerful that ability would be, I easily think he would be in the top 10 hunters in society. I've been thinking it over and I can't decide on which zodiac sign suits him, but probably the rat. Peni Parker, Neon Genesis Evangelion. Obviously the pilot of an Eva, don't have much else to say on this one. I saw the show once a long time ago and it was good, but absolutely crazy. I know it has a cult following. I'm sorry. If I had more info to put her into the storyline, I would. Let me know in the comment section down below where you think she fits into the plot. I just know it's teenagers and mechs that fight giant alien monsters. So based on that, here she is. The Thing, One Piece. In One Piece, I got to episode 200 before it felt repetitive, but I do know a little bit about it. And I think Ben Grimm would eat the devil fruit, the rock fruit. And having him go on adventures with the Straw Hat Pirates to get the One Piece would go absolutely hard. The only downside to this is if he doesn't have the ability to put himself back together again, he's probably going to get broken apart pretty quickly by a lot of really OP characters in this series and turn into that clown guy. Thor. Obviously, we have Record of Ragnarok, which already has Thor in it. By the way, Thor versus Lu Bu might be one of the greatest opening fights in anime history. But we need to be creative. So I'm going with Fate Stay Night. Having Thor join into this dark, bloody anime as the Berserker class to face down the heroes and gods from other mythologies, likes of Gilgamesh and King Arthur, to get the Holy Grail would be low-key cracked. And last but certainly not least, Venom. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I think we all saw this one coming. Eddie Brock with the symbiote stand. I'm picturing a stand that floats behind around him like normal, or can encapsulate him and he can use it to fight and protect his physical form, it would create such aura. And that is it for all of the Vanguards. If this video reaches 100 likes, I will put out part 2 showing off all of your favorite duelist characters in their anime habitats. So leave a comment down below of who your main is and what universe you think they would fit in, and stick around for part 2.